Grandma. Dear Grandma. Or perhaps I should say, Absheni Kokwana. I hope that the other side is treating you well. I am praying that you are watching over me from heaven. I wrote to you because you left too soon. I never got the chance to know you. I long to hear your voice. You gave birth to my father and paved your way out of earth. And I miss you. I miss your voice, Grandma, because I do not know you. You gave birth to a really strong man. He's been my pillar of strength. He did all in his power to educate me about my culture. Did I mention that he named me after you? Uninike vito ra wena, mina hi MKHABELA ka MKHABELA, xitukulwana xa wena. My name is THANDIWE MKHABELA ka MKHABELA. My parents blessed me with your name. In my years of existence, there's been nothing heavier than carrying your name. Your name comes with this suppressing gravity. Sometimes I cannot handle the pressure. I tried to run away from your name for so many years because I couldn't handle the pressure. I am sorry, Kokwana, but I couldn't. I am learning to embrace my culture. I'm learning to embrace your name. But your name comes with so much pressure. I was forced to escape from my roots. We live in a generation that teaches us that our ancestral names have no place in this era. Why? Why do we keep on running? Why do we keep on erasing the names of our ancestors? Why do we keep on trying to erase our ancestors? When they paved a golden path to our freedom, these names that link us directly to our roots. Why do we run away from our roots? Show some gratitude. It was in grade 3 when I was asked, "What is your first name?" I smiled. With eyes full of enthusiasm and a blossoming spirit, I said, Makhanani, a name from my ancestral chain. A name that gives my father so much joy because it reminds him of a mother that he never had. To my surprise, my teacher answered me and said, "I cannot pronounce your name. It's too difficult to pronounce." And she asked me, "What is your other name?" I said, THANDIWE. And then she told me that THANDIWE is a better name. Kokwana, that's how I lost my connection to my heritage. I painted my canvas with any color so that I could camouflage. She then asked me about my ethnicity and my culture, asking me, "What is my culture?" I said, "I'm Tsonga." She told me that I'm too pretty to be Tsonga. As if my culture is not part of the beautiful rainbow nation. Why do we call it a rainbow nation if we cannot learn to coexist, when we cannot learn to coexist with each other? Kokwana, I wish you were here. I really wish you were here. Unifuna kwamukela timitwa ta mina. Unifuna kuba ni ti lavisisa. I am done running from my heritage. I am done running from my roots. I am done running. Anlaba kuba biela kore. Every culture matters. Anla kuba biela kore. Vito ramina is not hard to pronounce. My name links me directly to my ancestors. My name is my identity. It makes it possible for me to trace back to my ancestors. It links me directly to the soil that my ancestors walked on. It draws me close to the twilight. So let me reintroduce myself. Imina Makhanani. Makhanani wa Dingani, Dingani wa Risenga, Risenga wa Khazamula. Bakama alakutshela. Bathemba ba boneng emehlo. Ibile ke setlogolo sa ditlou magapha, magapha ke bagala ba gaphi madi ba gapha sethitho. Ke nna Matebele Makonkwana ke a leboga.
Oh, come on with it.
What a beautiful way to open up our beautiful Heritage Month. I mean, obviously, it's Midday Express. We always serve with greatness.
My energy levels. The way that she did the tsonga, she served us with the tswana. She served us Midday Express. What are you saying? Heritage Month, first day of September. Amazing. We are saying we are within, we are poverty inside.
Welcome to the Midday Express right here on Galaxy Universal Network Channel 500 on Star. And of course,
the one and only, the voice, MBELE. This is Midday Express. Interact with us across every social media platforms. It is on Twitter and Instagram, gun_TV, and on Facebook, Galaxy Universal Network, and we are live, and that's where you are watching us at this point. Rory. What are you doing? What is the show about?
Yes.
We are within today. Like you legit brought a guest that did the things.
And of course, as you know, because we're always here to serve, we're going to bring another singer later on. KELETSO is going to embrace us with her beautiful song as well. And later also, we're going to have THANDIWE also, just to tell us a little bit more about her story. And we're going to just talk about if we've lost our culture as youngsters right here on the Midday Express. But let's just get into today's stories.
Absolutely. And the headlines are trending at this hour is Basic Education Minister Mokoena speaks out on the important role parents and caregivers play in their children's education.
Story, Herman Mashaba launches new political party, Action South Africa.
And in our South African stories, the Kenya ministry told to publish COVID-19 deals and aimed at a craft scandal.
And of course, then later we have got our amazing two beautiful ladies who could just talk to us about culture and being young. Moving on into the first story of the day.
Absolutely. As Women's Month has come to an end, Basic Education Minister Mokoena spoke on the important role parents and caregivers play in their children's education. She has emphasized that it is important to nurture a culture of reading with children as it helps them significantly in their learning journeys. She further added that in order to reach the 2030 goal of getting all children by the age of 10 to be able to read comprehensively, the National Reading Coalition and the Department of Basic Education will continue to address challenges that South African children face by promoting reading excellence in South Africa. Have a look at this.
I'm Mokoena, Minister of Basic Education. As we continue to celebrate women during the month of August, I'd like to remind everyone, including parents, of the important role they play in the education of their children. As a parent, I know the importance of nurturing a culture of reading for children, as this helps them significantly in their learning journey. The National Reading Coalition and the Department of Basic Education continue to address the challenges facing South African children by promoting reading excellence in South Africa in order to reach the goals set out in the National Development Plan 2030, which is to get all children by the age of 10 to read with comprehension. I'd like, therefore, to encourage parents across the country to do the same by creating a culture of reading in the home and in the community. Let's create a reading revolution.
It's quite important to actually, speak out to parents and to tell them that reading is actually important for the young ones. And, unfortunately, sometimes some parents did not actually go to school, and sometimes they don't even know how to. But I guess if skills are actually put in place to actually teach the parents themselves to actually teach their kids, it would be better that way.
Especially most in the township, where parents themselves can't even help their own children with language, with English. And so therefore we need to understand that even the children need help. Sometimes they come back home and teach them, if English is the second medium language they're using at school. If Afrikaans is the second one, if Sesotho is that, teach them that language and not what is spoken in the streets. Because the language that we use, is not the kind of language that allows you to enter corporate. It's not the kind of language that allows you to go out and explore the world. So I think with the Department of Education, the Department of Basic Education is doing absolutely a beautiful thing by allowing parents and children to interact with their schooling lives.
Yes. True, and moving on into the next story. Now, Herman Mashaba, the president of the new political party, Action South Africa, spoke out at the launch of the new party. Now, Mashaba said that after a painful and divided past that the country has experienced, the country emerged into the light of democracy, which hopes and dreams and a belief of building a new country. Now, he further said that in the 26 years of democracy, South Africans are still suffering from the highest levels of inequality, an economy that doesn't grow, levels of crime, education system, unemployment, and racial division. Let's have a look.
As a people, we have traveled a long and difficult journey. After our painful and divided past, we merged into the light of democracy with hopes and dreams and a belief in the prospect of building a new country. I remember a feeling of sense of pride when I could stand in a long queue with my diverse fellow South Africans to vote in 1994. I was finally a citizen in a country of my birth. I believe we'd see an explosion of opportunity as the shackles of our past had been broken by great men and women who had achieved the impossible in South Africa. But like you, I came to see how our country fell into the hands of evil people who inflicted pain and suffering on the poor of our country through their greed and failure. 26 years into our democracy, South Africans are suffering. We suffer from the highest levels of inequality. We suffer from an economy that does not grow, leaving 10 million people unemployed and families destroyed by the stress of hunger. We suffer from levels of crime that leave law-abiding citizens living in fear, while criminals roam our streets with impunity. We suffer from an education system that grooms our young people for nothing better than unemployment. We suffer from racial division and hatred and betrayal of our promise that every South African is equal and valued. We suffer from a government that has taken us backwards, not forward, that loots the funds meant to deliver opportunity, dignity, and services to the people of our country. We suffer greatly as a people. But my fellow South Africans, if there's one thing I know about the people of this country, is that we are resilient. We have endured hardship and prevailed. We succeeded in spite of our government, not because of it. We believe, even when there's...
Now, Mashaba said that despite spending one of the highest percentages of the country's budget on education, the South African education system is ranked amongst the worst, particularly in the critical subjects of maths and science. Now, the party said that it will be focusing on investing in early childhood development centers so that children in South Africa can be prepared and equipped at an early start in their education.
It is suffer from the legacy of our unjust past. We believe in the transformative power of education. Despite spending one of the highest percentages of our budget in education, our education system is ranked as one of the worst, particularly in the critical subjects of maths and science. We will launch an education revolution in South Africa with a new curriculum that raises a nation of employers, not just employees. We are going to focus on investing in early childhood development centers to prepare and equip every child in South Africa in an early start in education. Small business development and the skills of future jobs will become a focus in our schools.
It seems like everybody's going into education and actually investing in the childhood development, like we mentioned with the previous story with Angie Motsecha, making sure that children learn how to read. So I guess it shows that it's actually important to plant a very a good foundation
Yes.
in these kids so that when they grow, they can be bigger things and greater people in life.
Politics is a game, and they seem to all be playing the same cards at this
Yeah.
point. The ANC, now it's Action SA, they're doing the same thing, Herbert Mashaba. So it's like, I think it's a game. It's a game that we all have to see where it shall end, but as long as they are literally going to put in enough resources and money within our education sector in South Africa.
But a game that people are benefiting from, I see, fine, we can look at
Yeah.
it that, you know, they're trying, it's a whole political stunt, but at the same time, if children are actually benefiting, a good comes out of it.
But they
I must
haven't
say.
yet.
Well,
It's still in
okay.
progress.
We'll
They're still
see what
talking about it.
exactly.
So our school's going to be built. How is the maths and science? And why should we only focus on maths and science? We have the arts, we have history.
Yeah,
We have
true.
so many other subjects than only focusing on one, on like 2 subjects in like the entire curriculum.
True.
So those are other conversations that I think themselves as politicians as
should
within.
actually look into.
Absolutely. So let us
Good
take a look at another story. An alleged Dacha kingpin arrested with 2 other people, one of whom is an employee of the South African National Defence Force. According to the Hawks spokesperson, Captain Tlhageng Rikhotso, the South African National Defence member, is alleged the trio is smuggling Dacha from eThekwini and supplied it to the markets in Mahikeng and other surrounding towns. So, and 2 BMWs, Mercedes-Benz, and an Opel Corsa and VW Polo belonging to these 2 suspects were served and were apprehended by the Hawks. So this story says that it's a crucial one where the South African Defence Force, a member that is to serve and protect our country and other South African countries involved in a Dacha scandal and buying properties with that income, so to call it, that they have that they can't even clean now, and they had to repossess their cars.
Like, we always go back to corruption in South Africa. It's actually so sad that people that actually need to be preventing these things from happening are actually the ones in the forefront of actually pushing this corruption. So at the end of the day, it's like, how will corruption ever end if now these people are still doing these, people that are actually supposed to be preventing it from happening?
Yeah, I think it's a hard one. It's really a hard one finding that we have the people of the law breaking the law. And then we have a South African National Defence Force member who serves and protects. And yet again, there's a legitimacy within what they oath to South Africa, they oath to the world, they oath to South Africa. The biggest question is, why them? You know, I think for me, it's a thing. We see them, but will there be consequences? Will there be action? Will they get arrested? We see the headlines. We see what's happening. It's the same thing with politicians that are in high ranking. We don't see them get arrested. So will they this time around?
We'll see.
We'll have to.
We don't know. I think it's just
out.
something we'll just need to sit back and actually see how everything's going to unfold.
Yeah, and
We'll
even
just-
how Dacha within Emalokshini is such a big issue.
Yeah.
Shucks.
Yeah. Now moving on into a much more lighter and positive story. You know me and the positive stories. Now, Professor Wiseman Kuhlu, Chancellor of the University of Pretoria, has been included in a list of the 100 most reputable Africans that were recently released by the Reputation Poll International, which is a global public relations consultancy firm. And now individuals who also made it on the list include the Director of the UN Women, Dr. Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka, Minister of Health, Dr. Zweli Mkhize.
Okay.
We've got Chancellor of the University of Cape Town, Dr. Precious Moloi-Motsepe.
Oh, wow.
And also UP graduate and Olympic gold medalist Caster Semenya.
Oh my God, these names you're mentioning.
Yes.
The names you're mentioning, these are all
Big
elites.
names. Yeah.
These are all people, top of the crop.
Yes.
These are people that we look at. We do some. I think as young people, some of them you mention them, and I'm like, who are you talking about?
Who are these people?
But these people are elites in whatever industry, whatever leading factor in the economy. They are there.
Yeah.
Caster Semenya, for example.
Amazing.
Petrus Motsepe. Oh my God, Precious Motsepe.
Precious, yes.
Oh, that's a beautiful one.
It's really amazing, and to actually see women also in this list, I must say, it's very inspiring to actually see women making it in the top 100 most influential people in Africa. I mean, and it's nice to see that it's Africa as a whole. It's not just, South Africa. It's actually these people are being recognized globally. So big ups to them. Big ups to them.
Man, I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing. But at this point, allow us to take a quick commercial ad break. I'll be back right after this.
Disturbance of brains.
So were you born with it?
Yeah, I was born with it. This thing, if I and then you can't wake up.
ukuthi ngasakwazi ukuyilwela lento leyo ukuthi nga-end up ngisasemncane ngaqala ngabhema ogwayi and into bekumele ngingayenzi lento leyo.
It's not about not having jobs or us being lazy. We're willing to take the step, we're willing to push, but you need to have processes that actually help us instead of just killing us.
Let me tell my story.
Tech Talk brought to you by Tamani Technologies and Systems. Tamani Technologies and Systems takes leadership in 4th Industrial Revolution. The whole world is facing a transformation. The revolution will be developed into the following stages: digitization, cyber security, Internet of Things, managed services, document management, and business applications. We provide business transformation and ICT solutions with presence in 13 African countries and 2 European countries. We are your leading partner in integrated platform providers, innovation leaders, standalone products, and innovation pace setters. Tamani Technologies and Systems, delivering value across continents.
Experience the extraordinary.
Feeling is there that you're doing something special.
Have you lost it? Move! Stop being so dramatic, Meera. Challenge your ordinary.
Why don't you start a dance class?
Experience the extraordinary with StarSat.
Violence and sexual abuse against children has become a major social challenge during the COVID-19 lockdown. We appeal to adults, parents, and caregivers to be kind towards children during this lockdown and beyond. Give children the space they need to engage with their reading and learning activities. Do not hit them. Do not yell at them. They are equally frustrated. We urge you to listen, support, and help the children to survive the COVID-19 lockdown. Report immediately any incident of sexual abuse. The Department of Basic Education. Every child is a national asset.
Experience the extraordinary.
I like you, girl, in particular. Yeah, you got that young.
Challenge your ordinary. Experience the extraordinary with StarSat.
Tech Talk brought to you by Tamani Technologies and Systems. Tamani Technologies and Systems takes leadership in 4th Industrial Revolution. The whole world is facing a transformation. The revolution will be developed into the following stages: digitization, cyber security, Internet of Things, managed services, document management, and business applications. We provide business transformation and ICT solutions with presence in 13 African countries and 2 European countries. We are your leading partner in integrated platform providers, innovation leaders, standalone products, and innovation pace setters. Tamani Technologies and Systems, delivering value across continents.
Welcome back from the ad break, and you are still watching a Midday Express right here on Galaxy Universal Network. And the following story is: President Uhuru Kenyatta on Monday ordered Kenya's health ministry to publish details on all purchases made during the coronavirus pandemic, following allegations that government officials stole millions of dollars of vital medical supplies. The directive applies particularly to tenders issued by the state-run Kenya Medical Supplies Agency, KEMASA. At the center of a growing scandal that has promoted strikes at ill-equipped hospitals and street protest. KEMASA is under fire over allegations government officials and businessmen got over 400 million rand in public money, earmarked for medical equipment needed in the right to fight against coronavirus. Kenyatta last week instructed the Anti-Corruption Commission to expedite its investigation into KEMASA, which is responsible for the supplying Kenya's overwhelmed hospital treatment coronavirus patients. Kenyatta also said the Health Ministry had 30 days to develop a transparent system so that KEMASA procurement processes could be published online. Have a look at this.
Received his weekly $10 payment from the government. The money is a lifeline to him and thousands of other Kenyans in urban areas who have lost their jobs because of coronavirus and the subsequent lockdown measures. Ocheng is a casual laborer in the western town of Kisumu and has 3 children.
We use 500 shillings for our banana hawking business. We then use the other 500 to buy food and other basic things.
In another part of the town, Helena Akelo tells us this is the first time she's receiving food aid since March, when the first case of the disease was confirmed.
I have only heard about the government money. I have not seen it. I've just received this foodstuff from well-wishers.
The National Treasury.
And moving on into our international stories, now hundreds of demonstrators took to the streets of West London on Sunday in the first ever million people march to protest against systemic racism in the UK. Now, organisers hope that the march will continue the conversations about race started by the Black Lives Matter protest and give minority ethnic people a louder voice. Now, Black Lives Matter protesters walked the streets of London during the million people march on the 30th of August. Now, the march takes place this year in lieu of the annual Notting Hill Carnival, which is being held online due to the coronavirus. And organizers say that they aim to incorporate the same spirit of freedom through peaceful protests. Now, about 400 demonstrators walked along Bayswater Road from the Notting Hill tube station, finishing in Hyde Park. Now, at several points along the way, the crowd stopped, sitting down in the road and even breaking into a rendition of Redemption Song by Bob Marley as demonstrators raised their fists. Now, they said that they are looking at bringing in laws to protect the black citizens, and they said that they protect everything else. They protect dogs, they protect eagles, they protect dead statues, but they do not protect rather the black people. So they just said, let's protect people for a change. Let's protect black people. A very, very deep one there. You know, we've been seeing people taking stand against this.
Even in Washington, D.C., having them to march down, saying that Black lives do matter and that we need to take a stand and say that something has to give. And the President of the United States seems not to care, seems not to be doing anything, and it's something that is happening throughout the world. You know, it could be different things. In South Africa, we are also facing it. Racism is something that is real, that needs to be addressed. But on a lighter note, today in studio we are joined by, I don't want to say power mavericks, but they are young people that we invited so that we can talk about Heritage Month and what Heritage Month means to them. And they are KELETSO and THANDIWE, who are joining us today in studio. So hello, ladies.
Hi.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
Thank you very much for being here and attending this beautiful show that we have for you guys.
Can we just talk about having us? Firstly, how you opened up with such a beautiful poem. Oh my gosh, that was so inspirational, and you could feel it.
It was touching.
You could really feel it and touching. And just to talk about how now your teacher could not even say your name, and you had to give out your second name.
Yeah. It was really hard for me. Like, I was transferred from a school in Limpopo, and then I moved to Gauteng. And my first year as a grade 3 learner, just imagine telling my teacher that my name was Makanani. She couldn't pronounce it, and she was okay with being THANDIWE because it's a school where there are Bedis and Zulus. So from there, I became a girl with a Zulu name, knowing how to speak Sepedi fluently, and that was me for a long time until I came to a point where I was in grade 9. I was like, I am tired of being a person that I'm not. I'm not Zulu, I'm not Bedi, I'm Tsonga, and I need to embrace my heritage and my culture.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like today we're opening the show with so much power, with so much heritage, with so much lineage to who we are today. And when KELETSO, what, like you being here today, and what does Heritage Month mean to you?
It's not just about celebrating our culture, but also embracing it. I feel like as the youth, we're not really embracing it. We're trying to be ourselves, but we're being ourselves, outside our tribes. We do not want to understand where we come from. We just want to go forward, yet we need to understand where we come from first. So heritage means knowing myself, knowing my background, so that I can know where I'm going.
Exactly.
And so with that said, what are some of the steps that you've taken as an individual to actually figure out who you are and where you come from and your roots?
I've made peace with my identity mostly, you know, having the Lesotho name while I'm Zulu. I've made peace with who I am, where I come from. Being Unogwanda, Wagwapungula, that is Zulu, and also understanding my surroundings. How do I adjust in a surrounding that's Western dominated with my blackness and my culture?
Oh, wow, man. I just want to understand from the both of you guys that it's Heritage Month. We are celebrating heritage. Therefore, our language becomes important. The way that you speak, how you articulate amagamagini. Therefore, how has that been a transformation, you guys going into town, being in university, and not being able to speak your mother tongue most of the time?
It's been hard because it's better when I'm trying to communicate with South Africans, but then it's hard when I have to communicate with someone that's from outside the country, you know, and English being a form of communication. It's like, why should we use English while both of us are not white, you know? Can't you speak your language and we find a translator? Can't I speak my language? And, you know, it's that, but we live in this world, hey?
I feel like for me personally, I come from Pretoria, so it's a place where there's just a mixture of different languages. I speak broken Zulu, I speak broken Xhosa, I just speak a lot of broken languages, but I'm able to understand. I am able to communicate with a lot of different people, and I'm able to understand their backgrounds because I took it upon myself when I was in grade 9 to learn about my culture firstly, learn about being Tsonga, and then learn about my mother's side as well, because it's a part of me. I need to embrace that as well. I learned to embrace being Bedi as well, and then I looked at people around me. I have Zulu friends, I have Xhosa friends, I have MBELE friends, I have Venda friends, and I just took it upon myself to like, we call ourselves a rainbow nation, so why can't we learn different languages? As much as I can speak fluent English, I must also be able to communicate with other fellow South Africans,
So is there a point maybe when you moved from Limpopo and came into Gauteng, and now there's a whole transition of a language, and then now you hear maybe your friends now speaking this fluent English. Is there a point where you felt, you know, you're not adequate enough?
Yes, there was a point in my life where I felt not adequate enough, and it was because I was speaking raw Sepedi, like Sepedi Samahontente, and because I was still young and I've always been a child who was just willing to learn, it became easier for me to learn because I had a friend who was just so patient with me, who's like my best friend for now, like my lifetime best friend. She taught me Zulu and taught me Setswana, Spitori, and it was hard at first to transition, but it became easier because it was at school, you know. I went to a public school. When it comes to English, I watched TV. I learned English from TV. I can't say I learned English from school because we were taught English in Sepedi.
Do you
get my point? I was taught English in Sepedi. And I could say television is one thing that helped me, and reading as well. I love reading and writing.
Oh, you'd swear that she's been speaking English her whole life.
I mean,
you know,
like,
it's just so poised. And
Kelets,
I'd like to know, you being from Efumana, you being from the township, I'd like to know do you feel that our heritage, our history as young black people is being taught? Are you informed about what happened before that we were born? The languages, Zulu, Xhosa, Sepedi, all the 9 official languages, and still having Afrikaans as a second additional language within our country. So what do you think about that?
We are not taught. It's just that our families are trying to put it in. I don't want to say by force, but what they're doing is a good thing. We are not taught, because we are taught about history from other countries, not our South African history. We're not being taught about Oshaga, you know, how abanye baphuma bahamba bayo created their own language, how Zulu was a dominating language in the country, you know. We're not taught about those type of things, and it gets very hard, because manje ngizoyazi history say America, what about my history, what about where I come from? And it gets hard when you meet with other Americans. They know their stuff, and then when it comes to me, I know theirs, I don't know mine. Why? So it gets hard. And being from the township, you know, being from Gauteng, you learn so many languages, you know. Yes, you speak. I'm KELETSO, but I'm Zulu, but I speak fluent Xhosa. You know, it's that. And yeah, I think we're not taught enough about our history, about our 9 beautiful languages. There's nothing as beautiful as knowing that in your country there are 9 official languages, and you know half of them, and you can speak them fluently as the same way we're speaking English fluently.
It's quite sad that I actually feel like the only history we know of South African history is about the apartheid.
Yes.
That's the only thing we know. That's all we come from.
We can identify with most of them.
It's actually so sad. And then talking about that, now moving forward, what kind of parents do you think you are going to be? Because I feel like already our language, Go Generation Arona, has already been filtered down. We don't necessarily speak fluent vernacular languages. So do you think you're going to be those parents that are going to pass down proper vernacular languages? Or
from my side, I believe that as you're saying, I feel like our generation is a generation that does not embrace our languages, and it sometimes feels like our languages are going to forfeit, and the only thing that's going to be known in South Africa is going to be English. And so I took it upon myself when I was just imagining my perfect life as a grown woman, and I just thought to myself, I want to be the kind of parent that teaches my kid to embrace it all. I never got the chance to sit with my father's side. I never got the chance to learn about being Tsonga. I never learned to dance in Shibelani properly. I learned that from YouTube. You know, and it was quite sad. Like I just, that poem was talking about my late grandma that I never got to see, and I want to be that parent who's going to make sure that when you come back from school, when we get home, we are speaking Sepedi, we are speaking your father's language. If it's Tsonga, if it's Venda, I'm going to make sure that my kids know the languages in South Africa, and I'm going to teach them to embrace them. You know, I don't want them to just speak fluent English and then just get on with life, and then we're just living and forgetting where they come from. I'm going to ensure that they know how to speak. My mom ensured that I speak fluent Sepedi, so I'm going to ensure that to my kids as well.
I think it's the same thing as with me as also. You know, I'll make sure that my kids, like, what I told my father the other day, I was like, and they're like, why? I'm sure you make money from civil engineering. I'm like, the very same way that we were taught English in isiZulu or isiXhosa or Ndebele. Yes, I want them to go through that so that they know, my first language is my African language. You know, my that's what I want them to know. That is why I feel like they're going to grow up the very same way that I grew up, in the very same area, whether I am moneyed or not, but they need to know the culture. And for them to know the culture is not me taking them to private schools, but to, you know,
And actually we have an interesting fact for you guys, that even here at Galaxy Universal Network, we have Swahili News. So we're already leading within the African continent, bringing ourselves together in one place, saying that we can dominate. And let's listen to Swahili News. Let's understand the language, the deliverance, how soft, how hard is it? We all know Guti Zulu is very abrasive, very hard. It's Xhosa as the clicks. It's Ndebele is very soft. And then you guys have the Obokurukuru, Kaspedi. So you know, so all those places. So I think it's a beautiful platform that we all get to come together and talk about our languages and just interact, you know?
It's amazing. And that already, I feel like, you know, enough talking. I just want to get into the beautiful performance KELETSO is going to give us a very... What are you going to be performing for us?
Pata by Umiriam Makeba.
Oh, girl, I want you to say it with that thing, you know?
Give it
Pata Pata by Miriam.
Yes. Man, I can't wait for that performance. I absolutely can't wait. It's going to be electric. I hope you're going to bring the fire because I'm selling it already.
You're already
to the
selling
people.
it. I can see. But like you know it, right here on the Midday Express, we're always giving you the best. And this month we are celebrating Heritage Month and also the Tourism Month. Do catch us on all our social media platforms. It is Galaxy Universal Network and at @gun_TV. Let's just go for a quick ad break, and when we come back, KELETSO right chat's going to give us a very, very beautiful performance. Stay tuned.
The disturbance of brains.
So were you born with it?
Yeah, I was born with it. This thing, and then you can't wake up.
ukuthi ngasakwazi ukuyilwela lento leyo ukuthi nga-end up ngisasemncane ngaqala ngapha emogwayi and into bekumele ngingayenzi lento leyo.
It's not about not having jobs or us being lazy. We're willing to take the step, we're willing to push, but you need to have processes that actually help us instead of just killing us.
Bayisaplayayo yonke lento lenyawuko kodwa bona-ke ababoshwa. Let me tell my story.
Tech Talk brought to you by Tamani Technologies and Systems. Tamani Technologies and Systems takes leadership in 4th Industrial Revolution. The whole world is facing a transformation. The revolution will be developed into the following stages: digitization, cyber security, Internet of Things, managed services, document management, and business applications. We provide business transformation and ICT solutions with presence in 13 African countries and 2 European countries. We are your leading partner in integrated platform providers, innovation leaders, standalone products, and innovation pace setters. Tamani Technologies and Systems, delivering value across continents.
Experience the extraordinary.
Feeling is there that you're doing something special.
Have you lost it? Move! Stop being so dramatic, Mira. Challenge your ordinary.
Why don't you start a dance class?
Experience the extraordinary with StarSat.
Violence and sexual abuse against children has become a major social challenge during the COVID-19 lockdown. We appeal to adults, parents, and caregivers to be kind towards children during this lockdown and beyond. Give children the space they need to engage with their reading and learning activities. Do not hit them. Do not yell at them. They are equally frustrated. We urge you to listen, support, and help the children to survive the COVID-19 lockdown. Report immediately any incident of sexual abuse. The Department of Basic Education. Every child is a national asset.
Experience the extraordinary.
I like you, girl, in particular. Yeah, you got that young.
Challenge your ordinary. Experience the extraordinary with StarSat. Challenge your ordinary. Experience the extraordinary.
Not only the government, the municipality here has had no plan.
Now, I believe that my peace is my most valuable asset.
Absolutely beautiful!
This is exactly what I was looking for!
DJ Khaled!
It is a day
to celebrate.
We're ready for action.
I like it when it's nice and soft. Yeah, that is nice.
How was it like growing up in Nigeria? Yes, sir, you know what it is.
Feeling is there that, you're doing something special.
Stop being so dramatic, Mira.
You should just be what you want to be.
Experience the extraordinary with StarSat.
Well, welcome back from the ad break, and you're still watching Galaxy Universal Network right here on Facebook and on StarSat channel 500. And right about now, boys and girls, ladies and gents, the young and the old, please do allow us to introduce the one and only KELETSO performing Midday Express's hit single Ipata Pata. Here, and take it away.
Sakukuga satibega nanti pata pata. Oh satibega nanti pata pata. Sakukuga satibega ipata pata. Oh satibega nanti pata pata. Iyo ma nanti pata pata. Iyo mami pata pata. Iyo ma nanti pata pata. Iyo mama pata pata. Sakukuga satibega nanti pata pata. Oh satibega nanti pata pata. Sakukuga satibega ipata pata. Oh satibega. Iya ma nanti pata pata. Iya mami pata pata. Iya ma ipata pata. Iya mama pata pata. Sakukuga satibega. Sakukuga satibega. Sakukuga satibega nanti pata pata. Satibega goba. Iya ma iya mami pata pata. Iya mama iya ma. Iya mami pata pata.
Amazing. Hi, Ezin. My vocal cords. I'm not even gonna try. Amazing, beautiful, beautiful. I just want us to talk about now when you actually found, your God-given talent. Now you were a singer, you were a poet. Just tell us about the journey of actually finding your voice.
I don't remember the age exactly, but then we were at church. Okay, yes, we were at church, and then they were like, okay, the Sunday school is singing. Yes. And then I just grabbed the mic from them and I started singing. That's how I knew which I could sing. And then when we came back from church, my mom was not attending the same church as us. And then they were like, and that's how I knew that I have a talent of singing. And from there, I was like, I'm not looking back, I'm just going to sing. And also, I was trying to embrace my voice, because when I grew up, they were mocking me with my voice. Sure. Be like, you're so small, yet you sound like a man. Oh. And then I was like, instead of looking at the negative, let me focus on the positive. I can sing with this voice, I can be bold with this voice, and yeah.
Amazing. And
well, my journey started in grade 3.
You in grade 3?
In grade 3.
Yeah. In grade 3, I just don't want to dwell too much, but during that year, I went through a lot as a child and had some sort of a rough childhood. Mm-hmm. And at that time, my only comforting place was writing. So all these feelings that I was having and what's or not, I just had a journal and I just kept on writing like a crazy person. I could just spend my day writing different things, and then it got to a point where I was writing stories, short stories, I was writing poems and vernac, especially in Bedi. And when did I realize that I was good with poetry, in terms of like standing and speaking? Was in grade 7. It was Heritage Month. Luckily enough, it was Heritage Month, and because I was good with speeches in side class, we always have these speeches and this oral stuff. Yeah. So my teacher recognized that I was like that kid who always got 100% when it got to orals. And then from there, Heritage Month, they picked me to do a poem. And because I was just nervous, I was like, no, I don't want to do it. And then, yes, I want to do it. And then I wrote a poem, performed it, and the whole school went crazy. They started calling me Shakespeare. And then from there, I was just going on to different poetry competitions, going for public speaking things. And yeah, that is how I discovered my talent as a poet.
Oh, wow. Yes, I'm sitting here. And I'm the thorn amongst the roses. Yes. And I like every story so powerful because it has like a backstory to it. It has a present, it has a now. And as we are starting Heritage Month and it's the 1st of September, it's spring today. What would you guys be doing today?
Yeah, if I was
yeah, if it wasn't, yeah.
If I wasn't here, if I was probably at home. What would I be doing?
If it wasn't even coronavirus.
Spring. First day of September.
Yeah. First day of September, if I was at Kasi, would be literally thinking about buckets, but then I'm too old for that. I'm too old for that. I think I'd most probably be thinking about ways to spend my day with my little sisters. Maybe I could take them out for like a picnic or stuff. Yeah. If I was at home, I'd do that for them.
Well, if I was home, I know I would be cooking all those traditional foods. You know, I love doing that. And with Abantwana Basekhaya, all of them are boys, so I just, and they're always eating, they're always hungry. So let me just cook. Whenever they get in the house, like MBELE, it's ready. Done. Yeah, that's what I would be doing. Plus, since today it's cold, no buckets.
I think tables have changed. I mean, like, we can't be pouring each other with water now.
This is not the September we ordered.
It's not.
2020
Kariri is also doing the thing, so even September and the weather.
And I guess that's all we had right here on the Midday Express. Even if in this cold weather, we're still saying happy spring day to you, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining us, and stay tuned for the rest of the month as we give you everything heritage and tourism. From myself, RORISANG, and
myself, the voice, MBELE. Thank you very much for joining us right here on Midday Express. Adios.